Ladies and gentlemen, you have landed on the Juicebox Heroes brought to you by Chris, PK, and myself, Bryles. We're here to talk about the Astros all day, every day. Chris and PK, how's the week been going?
Well, I mean, it pretty much went down kind of like how all three of us expected it to go down. I mean, we knew that they would show up for Arizona, and then we also knew that they would play down to Oakland. But at least they won today, saved themselves from getting swept. So I guess bring on the Angels at this point. What about you, PK?
I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch most of the A series just because I was so annoyed with the fact that what was going on. I would watch it a little bit, get annoyed with the fact that we couldn't produce any runs, turn it off, and then I would just track it with ESPN the rest of the way. Today, I got to listen to it on the way home from Bay City today, so that made the 2 hour drive a little bit better. But yeah, it's just it's really frustrating to have these guys show up, against the Diamondbacks or the Royals or the Orioles, and then pee down their leg when they see the green and yellow come in town, or red, black, and white come in town, or go to red, black, and white. It's just really frustrating to watch. So, but yeah, like I said, whatever. On to the next. We got some entries to talk about. Another back of the baseball card reference to talk about. So kind of on one tonight. So I'm ready for y'all to kick this thing off so I can just go.
Yeah, I agree. It was a rough week. I mean, I think I said 3-3 for the week, but it looked okay against Arizona, and then when Oakland came to town, I mean, I know they've been playing tough, especially since the All Star break, but we definitely did not play up to our potential on that. And there were a couple questionable things in the lineup. We've had some questionable, not necessarily injuries, but like aches and nags that kind of crept up. So, I mean, we had some non-favorable items that didn't work out in our way. Like you already mentioned, we did actually pull one out today, but same time, what are you going to do? So let's move on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was rough to watch. I mean, PK at times, I kind of envy you for not even watching, but I've got a 7-year-old who wants to watch it every inning, every game. So, I mean, like, it was brutal, man. I mean, like, and it boils down to, again, it's the same shit that bit us in the ass earlier in the season. You can't win any ball game going 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position. You can't. I mean, I don't care if you play, if they play League City Athletics, it doesn't matter. If you can't hit with runners in scoring position, then, you're doomed from the get go. And, it's just, I mean, like, I couldn't, like, this 3-game series of Oakland lasted, it felt like it was like a 14-game series because
It really did. It really
I
did.
was ready to wrap up this series like 2 nights ago. So,
So
yeah, I mean,
one thing that's frustrating is let's go back to the extra innings game. That would have been last night. Yeah, what's
Yeah.
today? Yeah, it would have
yeah.
been last night. These ass clowns bunted 3 times in a row. Okay, they bunted 3 times in a row. You're not supposed to bunt 3 times in a row in extra innings, but you should bunt your first batter of that inning, depending on the batter, of course. I mean, you're not going to take the bat out of Alvarez's hand, right? But the point is you move the runner to third base with less than 1 out. So what happened? What didn't Yiner hit into a double play in extra innings?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think so.
Because he's Mr. Swing at the first fucking pitch, right?
Yes.
So you have the A's that bunted 3 times. You got Hector Neris that, for lack of really getting onto him, I'm just going to say that the ball slipped out of his hand and that he was not athletic enough to toss the ball underhand to the catcher. Okay, so you had that. We lose the game, right? We lose the extra inning game. We don't bunt over anybody in the bottom half of our inning. We lose. Today, though, in the 5th inning, after Singleton gets his double, I think his second double of the game, then Jake Myers bunts him over to third in the 5th inning. So here's what that tells me. It tells me that we're scared about getting swept, and we're going to play small ball to make sure that we don't get swept by the A's because we have to salvage a win because of how tight the race is. Because you pissed off another outing. You pissed off another outing by another good outing by your starting pitching in the A's series. Like Hunter Brown, like he wasn't as dominant as he had been here for us recently, but it was still a good enough start to where he deserved to have a decision. I think no, he didn't have he got the loss, right? He gave up
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
But what
Well,
I'm getting
he
but
gave
what I'm
up
getting
5, but like the relief gave up the last 2.
is less than, yeah, total
Yeah,
like his line score says 5 earned runs, right?
yeah,
But you piss away a starting pitcher again because you can't plate the ball, you can't hit the ball against these lower teams. And look, the A's have some good pitching. Like I didn't realize that. I think it's Brett Rooker. That dude's got
yeah,
like 35 freaking bombs this year.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
35. He's
Brett Rooker's
35 and
he's a
35 and
beast, man.
99. That's what he has, right?
that
Like
is the most quiet 36 home runs in the
yes.
majors right now.
So
He's about to
I'm
get
not saying that,
paid.
and I'm not saying that. So the A's aren't slouches. Like they're a good team, and we talked about it coming in. They've been playing good ball since the All Star break. However, the Astros have been playing even better ball since the All Star break, and it's just frustrating to watch. Like we get up for these big teams and we just play down or under to these crap teams, and in extra innings, you move the guy to third base. Move the guy to third base. I just don't understand. It's frustrating to watch, and that's part of the reason why. Like I didn't watch much of the Red Series, right? I really didn't because like I thought we were going to win the series. To be honest with you, we should have swept them. But then after the first game, half of the second game, I was like, you know what? Like if I sit here and watch this, I'm going to lose my shit. And that's kind of what I was doing with the A's, you know. So that's kind of what I took from this A's series. And it was like, move on. Let's get the hell, get done with these guys. Let's move on to the next. But watching the extra innings was a complete debacle. And a lot of the times, most of the time this season, extra innings for us has been a complete debacle. And then today, let's not, and we haven't talked about it, but let's not pass over the fact that Hader gave up another home run. Okay. Like, I know we won the game and I don't want to be, and I'm going to be that guy tonight. Cause I'm just
Bring it.
that's where I'm at right now. Your closer shouldn't be giving up home runs, whether you have a 4-run lead or not. That's not his job. And he's been nails for us here recently. But it's like almost like he loses focus. It's like, hey man, get in here, 3 up, 3 down. Let's get the hell out of here. Don't make the innings longer. Let's not get any traffic. But it's like we're giving up these damn home runs. And our relievers. I mean, Abreu had the. He was the. If we want to go two faced,
Yeah.
like what was that Marvel guy? I mean, the superhero Two Face, right? Like
I think that's Batman, but
the point
Yeah.
is that I don't watch that shit. But you also knew what I was talking about. So technically, you knew what I was doing. But we got the other side of Brian Abreu, right? Like filthy, right? Where before, it's like, okay, we know this guy's gonna give up some runs. So there was so much going on in this series, but like what really stood out was today. It was the 5th inning bunt after Singleton got on base to move him over, and that to me said, look, we can't afford to get swept here because we're too tight. Like we were 3.5 games up prior to winning today, and we're only half a game up. We only picked up half a game because I think Seattle's off today, right? They're off today. Or they're playing tonight.
No, they're off today.
So
I'm
so
sure.
the thing is, you didn't want to lose another half game, right? Because every game counts. I mean, we still got to play the Mariners. I think in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
In 2 weeks. So we got to have a big of a lead as we can going into that because they're a tough team also. So that is my soapbox for right now. And it's been a minute since I've been on one of those. I've probably been since June, maybe
yeah,
May or June.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So yeah, there we go.
No, I mean,
Keep that.
Go ahead.
I would say keep that feeling, man. Stay on your soapbox. And by the way, I misspoke. Mariners are playing the Rangers right now. They are losing 1-0 in the top of the 4th. So we might hopefully get a little bit of a movement there where we're going. But I totally agree with everything you said. I think the biggest thing here that we've had over the last 2 weeks is inconsistency. It's whether it's from the pitching staff, whether it's from the offense, whether it's from defense, I mean, because we've seen some really stupid errors too. I mean, keep that in mind. If you've been watching the games, you've seen like Pena make dumb errors. You've seen dumb errors coming from first base. You've seen them coming from third base, whether that's been Bregman or Dubon or Whitcomb or whoever's been playing over there. You've seen them in the
Fucking
outfield too.
Dubon.
So, I mean, it's been all over the place. So
Yeah, I mean,
inconsistency is the key. Sorry, go ahead,
my
Chris.
bad.
Yeah, no, for
No, my
sure.
bad, man. It's just like there's all. I don't know what it has been these last two seasons. Last year is we couldn't win at home, right? This year it's the curse of the teams that we should easily beat. And what frustrated me about like today's game and like the extra innings game, and I don't think did Blanco pitch yesterday? I don't think he did. So what I don't understand is and what aggravates me the most is using Hater as like this guy to like keep the game tied. It's like that's not what you pay him $19.5 million for. He is your shutdown closer. I think
Thank
the
you.
problem is that I think I don't want to say he's being overpitched because if you make close to 20 million, there's no such thing as being overpitched. But I think for his role is a closer. And I feel like the majority of the season, because you've lacked that guy that can give you three, maybe four innings out of the bullpen, because that's normally the guy you would bring in the ninth, or the 10th inning going into extra innings. And that's your guy that gives you multiple innings,
Mm-hmm.
So like, but Espada has continued to use Hater in a, hey, we need you to keep the game tied. And I'd like to see where his innings pitched is right now compared to last year because I wouldn't be surprised if already now he's got more innings pitched than he did last year. But then again, we even talked about it way early in the podcast about how he put those limits on himself last year so
Yeah.
that way he could get paid this year. And now that he's got paid, he's like, dude, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I'll
pitch
start the damn
pitch me
game.
whenever. Yeah.
Yeah, so and I understand that, like, yes, it's always, an easy option to have that guy who throws hot gas out of the bullpen, but that's your closer, right? That's your closer. I mean, I just think that he's probably pitched more than what he's used to because of the fact we've had all of these extra inning games, and then, it does. I mean, yet yesterday was just again this season. I mean, we're 5-10 in extra inning games. I mean, so at this point, it's a pretty fair chance to say we're going to go into extras. A spot is going to put in Hater, expecting to pitch 2 innings. In that second inning, he's going to get lit up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty much been the MO of the season for extra innings.
No, it's been like that all year. I completely agree. It's I don't understand bringing him in the ninth and a tie. I mean, I understand why he comes in top of the ninth, right? Because you're trying to 3 up, 3 down those guys, right? And then you're hoping that in the bottom half, you walk it off. Majority of the time, it hasn't been like that. So we go to the 10th, and then we end up with I don't know, Seth Martinez in the 11th, or halfway through the 10th because for whatever reason. I completely agree. It's like he's your closer. He should be in. You bring him in for like a 4 or 5 out save if you have to, but that's in the eighth and
Exactly.
ninth, not
Yeah.
the ninth and the 10th,
Yeah.
right?
Not when you're trying to keep the game tied. I mean,
Right.
like, because that's a different, I would assume, like I said, I've never played pitcher. I would assume that's a different type of mental preparation to close a game versus, hey, I've got to keep this game tied,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And in theory, you should have enough arms in the bullpen, right? In theory, on paper. Now, this year, you could take that piece of paper and fucking wipe your ass with it
Yeah.
because Abreu's been, you don't even know what you're getting with
You have
Abreu.
no idea.
You have no idea what you get with Presley. He blew the save today. I mean, well, he wasn't going for the save, but he got credited with a blown save. I mean,
Well,
so really,
that would have
there's
been that would have been a hold, right? If he would have got
yeah.
out of the inning, right?
I mean, so like really, honestly, right now there is not. It's not like 2022 where you could literally throw anybody out of the bullpen, and it was like, man, if they score, then they earned it.
Yeah.
There's no shutdown guy that we have that has consistently been dominant this season.
well, and I mean, both of you guys already talked about it, and we talked about it off camera too. It's like the whole mentality of a closer. It's like if you bring them in when they are not closing, they don't perform. So, like Hader coming in for 2 innings, I mean, he's good for 1 inning. He's good for that 1 inning that he's ramped up. Like he hit the smelling salts right before he ran out of the gate, and then came in and like struck 3 people out. Presley was the same way, and we've seen, which we talked about today again, about the runs that he has given up that he shouldn't be giving up. I mean, as a pitcher, the guy's a really good pitcher, but at the same time, there is something between his 2 ears to where if he's not pitching the ninth or in a high leverage situation, he cannot perform correctly. And I think that's the way with every single closer that is out there. And unfortunately, just like what Chris was saying, it's like that's been the majority of our bullpen the entire season. Now, I will say one thing. We've had some bright spots, and I want to highlight Caleb Ort. That dude has been nails since we brought him up. Since he has been an Astro, he has been absolutely destroying everybody when he is called upon, anytime, every time. So I really hope to see a little bit more of him in the future.
Yeah, I like Caleb Ward. I mean, he's it looks like his ERA is 133, and he throws freaking gas. Like I mean, he just does gas. I've never heard of the guy until this season.
I think I
the other
even texted you
name
guys. I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
yeah, exactly. Um, I've kind of like what happened to Taylor Scott?
I think they're. I mean, I think he's getting. I mean, I'm hoping that the fact that they've noticed what all of us have noticed is like, dude, you're overusing the shit out of this guy.
Yeah,
Which is why he's not as effective.
They probably didn't
So
have a choice at that point.
yeah, so I'm
well, they
hoping
didn't.
that
They
we're
didn't.
not seeing him because they're allowing him to rest a little bit more. Yeah.
So look, coming into when was I watched? What's today? Today's Thursday. So yesterday's game, Abreu didn't pitch, right? He didn't pitch yesterday. I can't remember. The point of it is that when they show, like on the broadcast, they show the pitchers and the usage for the last week. The
Yeah.
only guys that hadn't pitched in like 2 days were Caleb Ferguson, Ort, and I don't know, some other clown,
King.
right? Yeah, King. And then they brought in Ferguson, and Ferguson gives up the go ahead bomb to that lefty, some lefty. Anyways, that's not the point.
Oh,
But
McCann,
yeah, who had been over
a
on
million.
the been over, and then he goes oppo, and look, and it was such a good hit that like when you can tell the sound of the hit through the TV,
Yeah.
you're like, oh
That's
yeah, that's a good one. That's not what you want to hear, not from them, not from any opposing team, right? But
Yeah.
he murdered the ball. So, but you burned all those guys in the extra inning game the night before, and you're kind of stuck, air quotes, stuck with these three guys that hadn't pitched. I mean, look, Will Smith 2.0, like I've been okay. I would say it's been okay. Like I mean, for me,
Yeah.
better than Will Smith 1.0, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But I still don't trust him really to come out of the pen in a tight game. I think as we get closer to the end of the season, we're going to have to kind of figure out our bullpen situation for sure, and like what we really have, because like Hector Neris has been like he's been good. He's shown the flashes that we were used to last year, but then he's also had a couple outings where I don't think we're his best. So, and look, they're professional athletes, and they're not going to be. You don't expect them to dominate every single time. At least I don't. But I think we're getting to the end of the season where we have to start figuring out who we're going to ride with in the pen, and then to segue into our doing that, we go into the starting rotation. What the hell are we going to do with our starting rotation, right? Like JB's look like I don't
Hot
even
ass.
hammer dog shit. Really,
Well,
it's been terrible. But then he got the baseball card reference, and so we know what happened the last time the baseball card reference happened.
that thing is cursed. I mean, but yeah, like we were watching the game. I think it was last night, and you know how they do the stroll poll or whatever, and the stroll poll was who was going to be your three guys as your 3-man rotation for the playoffs. And I just think that it's indicative of everything everybody's been seeing, because the one pitcher that was not on any of the options was JV. it was all Brown, Fromber, Kikuchi, Brown, Fromber, um,
Blanco, maybe.
Blanco, maybe. Yeah. So JV wasn't even an option. So, but it's just like, I mean,
I don't
and
think you
again,
can though, dude. I really don't
yeah,
think if you go on his last three outings,
his last three outings, his ERA is almost 8.
right? So I'm saying, so if the playoffs started on Tuesday, and
I
if
don't see
I don't
any
see him,
Well,
I
reason
don't
you
see
give him the
him.
ball.
no, if you're talking about Tuesday, he's not starting in the rotation. But fortunately, we're not starting the playoffs on Tuesday. Here's what I'll
I
say
mean,
is
fair.
that he needs at least two more tune-ups before we even consider him to be in the rotation for the playoffs. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I understand we're paying him a lot of money. The Mets are paying him more money for us to have him, but that doesn't matter. The one thing I do want to see though is I want to see playoff JV. I want to see like that hard hitting bulldog guy that we've been used to in the past. And right now his arm is just not there. So if he can shake off the rust in two starts, then in my opinion, what he is he's your number three starter. You've got to put Fromber in at number one. For number two, you probably are putting Brown in. I don't see any way you don't put him in. Then you put JV at number three, and then
Mm.
Kikuchi is your fourth starter. And then from anything after that, Blanco and everybody else goes straight to the bullpen. That's the way I see it. But
Yeah,
listen, if JV can't perform, then I'm sorry. I don't even know what to do. You can't put him in the bullpen. You're going to put Justin Verlander in the bullpen, the guy that's
Yes,
learned how
yes,
to warm up every single game to go for a start. I mean, I
yes.
don't. I think that would be a bigger disaster putting him in the bullpen, and I would just leave him off until he can get figured out whatever he needs to get figured out.
I
I
think if
mean,
look if you're really if you're really focused on hanging another banner at the juice box, then
you do what you have
then
to.
you do what you have to, and you have to make the tough decision. And yeah, JV he's got some pull because he's JV. I understood, right? I mean, it's warranted. However, if you got to run three guys out in the wild card series, it's Fromber, Brown, and Kikuchi.
I'm not going to
I
argue
agree.
with you on that at all.
You
Yeah,
know,
I
and then
mean,
and then if you have to go, in my opinion, if you have to go, now you've got Arrighetti, Blanco, and JV, right? So you throw one of what did I just say? Blanco or Arrighetti, they start 2-3 innings. JV, you got the 3-4-5, right?
mm-mm, mm-mm.
And
I
then
mean,
Bridget. I
I
don't.
mean,
It's just I think if you go to the top three, I think the three is Brown, Fromber, and Kikuchi. That has to start your series.
we
See,
have
here's, I
3 weeks
mean,
to figure it out, though. Go ahead,
I
Chris. Sorry.
agree with you, but I don't agree with your usage of JV. So like you looking at these last three starts, right? There, you cannot justify this guy being your one of your starting pitchers in the playoffs. You can't. There's nobody on this fucking planet outside of his name is JV. Well, that's a cool story. Because here's the thing, it's not like JV's the greatest playoff pitcher either. So if it's me, I'm telling him we are gonna use you as needed a la Madison Bumgarner. Come in like in the sixth, and then we'll see how it goes. And we can kind of do that flashback brawls like you were talking about a couple of weeks ago, saying how come teams don't bring their starters out like in the sixth inning to just mow the lineups down to save your bullpen. So like if we get into, let's say, the divisional series best of five, and let's say we're in a game four situation, we're up 2-1. You could throw Blanco out there and say, Blanco, man, just give us five. And then we'll give it to the Bulldog. And then you bring JV in the sixth. And if he's mowing, you just let him go, let him cook.
Yeah,
And that could be our throwback to what was that 2013
we're piggybacking.
Bumgarner coming out and pitching 6 innings out of the bullpen. I mean, that's at that point. That's because like we just been talking about, there is nobody in the bullpen right now outside of Blanco, and that's only because he's hasn't thrown this many pitches in a season yet. There's nobody out of that bullpen as far as actual relievers that I'd be that I would see them bring out and be like, okay, 1, 2, 3, thank God. Whew, I'm glad they brought this guy in. It's going to be which version of insert this guy's name are we going to see?
And isn't it wild that that's where we're at though with the bullpen?
Yeah.
Like because
And,
we had a 7, 8, 9. We for such last couple of years at least several years we've had a 7, 8, 9 guy and we're like, oh, it's a wrap.
it's
Just
done.
get to the seventh.
Well, and
Yeah.
think about it, like when we signed Hader at the beginning of the season too. That's everything that like MLB Network and all these guys are talking about. Like, oh, Astros got 7, 8, 9 locked down, and that has been the the last thing that's actually happened. To be honest with you, it's like, but when they thought we had Abreu, Presley, and Hader going boom, 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 then it hasn't worked out that way. But to be honest with you, I can't really name right now a bullpen, at least in the American League, that has been like that. That has been like 1, 2, 3. Like, okay, you get to the sixth inning or seventh inning. If you're not winning, then you're completely done. I haven't seen any domination from any bullpen in the entire American League that I'm scared of. And I say that when we just lost 2 out of 3 to the A's. So
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you're
mean you're
right.
right. Jinx. Yeah, you're right though. I mean, I haven't heard or seen any other like uber dominant back end bullpen. I mean, I'm sure there's one on statistic wise. I'm sure there's one there, right? But like you're saying, bro, I was like last few years, it's been Astros get to the seventh, eighth, and ninth. It's over. It's done. Y'all better
yeah,
get to that
done.
starter before that. Get to that middle reliever because once you get to the end, it's over. But going back to JV, Chris, what I was saying is I agree with you, but what I was saying was that if you have that fifth starter or fourth starter, Blanco, Arrighetti, whatever, as soon as they get in trouble, that's what I was saying. Then you bring in JV,
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
middle inning guy. I don't think you can run him out there for a start. But
No, I mean, in that,
I like the JV. I don't know. The thing is that the only problem with that is that he's going to have a routine that he's used to starting a game to warm up,
I
right?
don't care.
So
I don't care.
I know it
Well,
shouldn't matter, but it shouldn't matter, but it does
and that's what I was
because
alluding to. It was like,
Yeah, I
yeah, it's
mean,
go ahead.
no, I'm just
no,
saying at the end of the day, we can all come up with everything. We all know that game 2 is going to be JV's going to get the ball. And hopefully all that rust is knocked off. I mean, because yes, I mean, I agree with you, Brawls, with the fact that he's JV. He needs to knock out, these next 2 starts that he makes are going to be very telling, right? PK, I agree with you too. Leave him in the bullpen. In my hypothetical world, Arrighetti or Blanco or Kikuchi, whoever's going in this game 5 scenario, is going to go 6 innings, and then you bring JV in. I agree. Also, if they get in trouble in the second, there is no loyalty to either one of those 3 guys. You bring in JV, and if he's ready to rock and roll, then you just roll with your hot hand. I mean, but it's just I can't put him in front of Hunter Brown.
oh
I
hell no,
can't put him in front of Fromber, who had another fantastic start today. And honestly, I can't put him in front of Blanco either. Blanco would be my 3rd starter. And then I'd have Kikuchi and JV coming out of the bullpen.
You're
yeah.
not
So
wrong.
And
like
Arrighetti.
you're not wrong, and so that we don't continue just to beat down our starting rotation. I mean, Framber Valdez has been
Dude,
effing nailed, like
dude,
stupid freaking good, man.
he's been like 2022 Fromber. Like he's
Get
been
him a
stupid
weave,
good.
and all of a sudden he's turned
There
back
you
into
go.
Samson.
There
Look,
you go.
over his last 6 starts, it's a 1.32 ERA,
That's nasty.
including a scoreless outing against the D-backs last Friday. Like the dude is
The
like
real question,
pitching stupid good, man.
the
Stupid.
question I have is how many almost no hitters, how many no hit bids have he taken to the 7th this year? Because it
Yeah.
seems like he's had about 7 of them already this
It
year.
feels like it. It feels like almost every outing. It feels like he's probably going to get close, 6 or 7,
Yeah.
6 or 7 innings. And
Yeah.
the thing is crazy though. What's crazy is that like everybody in the world knows that his curveball is coming. Everybody knows,
Yeah.
and it's so good that they still swing and miss, or they top it to Bregman, or Pena, and the outfielders get to stand there and
So
Look at
maybe they'll hit one to me. We'll
maybe I'll
see.
get a foul ball hit this way or something.
At least I'll be able to take a couple steps and make it look like I have a chance, but I
Like
don't.
they interviewed Jason Hayward today. Was it today? Farmer pitched. Yeah,
Yeah,
they interviewed him after the game. They were asking him like how boring was it out in the outfield for today's game. And he kind of laughed. Obviously, he laughed and he was like, I just was just basically just. He's like, I caught myself staring or just as a fan watching Fromber work, right? Because like it's just pound the zone, pound the zone, pound the zone, ground ball, ground ball, ground ball. And the outfielders get no work. They get their steps in by running in and out from the outfield.
yeah. I mean, and another thing to talk about today's victory is that all of our runs were scored by hitters 6 through 9, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago, saying, these are guys. Like I said, let's be real. I mean, Gamble is a guy we claimed off waivers. Hayward was cut by the Dodgers, so he was, and you said that yourself, PK. If you're good, you're
they
not
don't
getting DFA'd,
they don't
right?
cut
No.
you.
So and then you've got Jake Myers, who essentially is a fourth or fifth outfielder, and then you have Chas McCormick, who sounds like he needs to be a career AAA player. Your goal for these guys, between all those guys we just mentioned, you throw in Dubon, maybe I guess you could throw in Whitcomb. Games like today is all you need them to do. Let the big guys 1 through 5 handle most of the lifting, but on days their arms get tired of lifting, we just need you to contribute. And that's what we got today. I mean, so in a perfect world, that's the kind of balance that you need. The majority of the nights is, your big guys, Altuve, Jordan, even though Altuve didn't play today. Tucker, hopefully he's knocking the rust off. And then when they're kind of slipping, that's where these C- players come in and, do what they got to do. So it was good to
They
see. It
you
was good to
touched on
see
Hayward.
them.
He hit his first bomb with us today.
That's good. It's a second hit. Fantastic.
Well,
Well,
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it's like Hayward and Gamble. I understand these guys are, coming off the everybody else's bench and playing for us. But I mean, they have actually been able to perform. I mean, with McCormick going on the IL now, I mean, I know he got sent down to AAA backup. I mean, he was there for a cup of coffee and came back, but still, at the same time, I'm glad to have these guys on the team. They've actually been performing and been a part of some of these wins that we've had, and a big portion of the part of the wins that we've had. So, what I'm hoping for is they've got the experience, one, and then two, going into the playoffs. If we get Hayward's performance in the playoffs, I can't attest for what Gamble's done in the playoffs in the past, but I mean, still, this guy's been in how many MLB games? He's been in a ton of them, and it's honestly right now I will take this more than whatever we could bring up for AAA, because I mean we've had a lot of guys coming up from Sugarland that have been up, down, up, down, up, down, and then once again here, let me go ahead and eat some more crow. It's like, what would we be like actually relying on right now? It'd be a Loper Fido or something like that. And yes, I understand we traded him and all that kind of stuff, and everybody was upset about it, especially me, PK, you too. But at the same time, hey, we've got guys that are actually experienced. We know they can go to the plate. We know that they can hit, and we know that they can play defense at an MLB level. Now, is it at a spot where we want them to be there and we're going to sign them for a 5-year contract? No. But is it at a spot where we can feel comfortable with them out there? At this point, I'm going to say yes.
yeah, I mean, I've been pretty impressed with what Gamble's been able to do since, we brought him over. I think he's hitting like 260, 270, more than what I would have, pretty
expected.
much expected. Yeah, I mean, but like you look at guys like Whitcomb, DeZenzo, clearly those guys were, I mean, not really Whitcomb, but definitely DeZenzo was rushed because we had that nagging, hole at first base. I mean, so like I feel like if you had first base under control, then you probably wouldn't see DeZenzo up here. You wouldn't see Whitcomb up here.
Agreed.
And then like you had Tucker going out, and then the trade of Loperfido, you probably wouldn't end up seeing. You wouldn't end up seeing Pedro Leon up here. I mean, I'm pretty sure those guys that got sent down to AAA, we probably won't see them. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to keep that squad intact for their playoff run that's coming up here soon. But yeah, I mean, speaking of the minor leagues, in the last week we have promoted Bryce Matthews to AAA.
Yeah, we have.
And like I said, Jacob Melton's already up there. I mean, so to me, us promoting, granted, there's only like what, maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Their playoffs start the 24th. So there's 12 games left in the season, maybe 11 games. It shows to me that they are prepping, they're preparing. And this is just my opinion, my thoughts. I feel like them calling up Bryce Matthews is them preparing for him to take over third base next season. That's how I see that. I mean, because that tells me the Zenzo ain't it, right? Because if the Zenzo, like I said, if he came up here and would hit 300 or whatever, I think Bryce Matthews is still chilling in Corpus Christi. But the fact that the Zenzo came up here, struggled, got sent back down, and then now they're calling up, Bryce Matthews. Because like I said, at this point, with this team, granted, and we'll get into it once the season's over, once the playoffs are over. But looking ahead, I mean, there's only really a couple of positions that your road to the majors lead. And that's probably going to be third base, as much as it hurts. It's going to hurt everybody's heart. First base, and probably 2 outfield spots. So Bryce Matthews isn't going to AAA to get called up to play shortstop or second base. So that's why I think they're calling him up to AAA. We're going to see him. I think he may just get the reins like Pena did once Correa left. But that's just me.
And it makes sense. It makes sense to me. I mean, I think we talked about it. I don't know how many times. I don't think there's a way you keep, Bregman, especially with the.
I mean, there is a way. I mean, now
of course, there's always a way.
Well, what I'm saying is now, like with JV not hitting that innings limit, that if he would have hit that innings limit, it would have been up to him to decide if he was going to re-sign with us.
So now it's a club option.
Yeah, it was a vested option. If JV would have hit, I think it was like 115 or 120 innings or something like that, then it would have been up to him. So if he would have hit 120, and let's say JV got lit up the rest of the season, he would have been like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come back for another year." But since he didn't, the Astros can be like, "Man,
what's he at? What's his, there's no way to get to 120.
There's no way you can hit it. No. I was reading an article on that. It's like he would literally have to go 13 innings on his last
complete games.
Yeah, complete games on his last 2 starts for him to even sniff like that.
Yeah, I'd take a few complete games though from his ass.
Yeah, I mean, so you could use that 17 that you were giving him, and maybe tack half of that onto what Bregman's making now. But again, you're looking at a JV contract that you'd be paying him for 1 year, and you just saw the Chapman deal go down last week. So that was not very promising. That didn't help.
He's not taking a penny less than what Chapman's getting. Let's be honest about that.
That's minimum.
And I don't blame him.
That's where the bar starts.
I think defensively, he's head and shoulders above. Don't get me wrong, Chapman's a fantastic third baseman defensively. But then Bregman's is light years ahead of him offensively. So I don't blame him from saying, hey, if Chapman got this, I mean, I just don't see it happening, especially with all that money you got chilling from Montero and Abreu. I don't see it happening. But then again,
Bagwell's salary, whatever that is.
He's still.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Yeah, but that's going to be. I mean, I don't want to get too much into off-season stuff. We'll save that. We'll need to get through a lot of off seasons. We'll need as much material.
Save that for the Juice Box Heroes hot stove.
Yeah, the hot stove. So,
all right. So we can talk about predictions.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we all pretty much had the same predictions.
Same prediction. Was it same?
We had the same overall. I think y'all were right, and I did not make it right.
Yes,
because I had us dropping 2 of 3 to Arizona, and then getting revenge on Oakland. Boy,
were you wrong?
I was wrong.
Yeah, no, I think I called it with Oakland coming in hot. I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Man, I wish I would have been wrong. Let's put it that way. But
no, 100%.
Yeah, it's that's kind of what I figured. I went 3-3, and I think I nailed it. 2 against Arizona and 1 against Oakland. And I'm telling you, man, that game that we won today, it came all the way down to the 8th inning, and us having to score 4 in the 8th on a
Yeah.
Wednesday day game for my prediction to
Yeah.
even be remotely close to right. So I
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't feel good about it.
All right, so who we got this weekend?
We got
Who's the next two series? What we got?
California Connection round 2. We got the Angels,
Yeah,
and then we got the Padres.
we get the
Ooh.
dads. Yeah.
Okay.
See, and this is the frustrating thing because it's like, man, it's like this team doesn't look like great, but it's like every time we play somebody that's worth a damn, it's like we make them look stupid, and it
These are
just makes no sense. Like I'm almost at the point right now. They drop 2 of 3 to the Angels, and they sweep the Padres. That's
so
where
is
I'm
this
at right now.
is this 3-3, like 3 games, or 3-4?
I'm pretty sure it's 3 games, 3 games. Let me double
Yeah,
check.
it's I know I've got it up right now. It's 3-3.
Okay.
So we're going
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So 3 against Angels, 3 against Padres, and then back home to see the Angels again. By the way,
Yeah. So my prediction is we're going to lose 1 or 2 to the Angels, and I'm going to go 3-3. That's what I'm going to do.
PK.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
All right. While you're thinking, I'm going to go ahead and take it.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Here's what I don't like. I don't like that we're playing the Padres in San Diego, and they're trying to go out there and get at least a playoff spot, if not trying to take the pennant away from the Dodgers. The Angels, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we've played the Angels like tough. Every single time we go out there, it's like we've absolutely destroyed them. Like on the road, it just historically, we've always beat the Angels. So I'm saying not a sweep. I'm saying we take 2 or 3, and then, man, against the Padres. Chris, what were we going to say about the Padres?
I mean, but like it just kind of goes also to what you said about the Diamondbacks too. Diamondbacks trying to take a push, and really outside of JV's game, I mean, and that was kind of like the game that we all agreed that they were going to lose. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if JV's pitching against the Padres, I mean, I'm willing to say they're probably going to lose that game.
I'd like
And if
to
that
see the
makes me an
pitching
asshole,
matchups.
I'm an asshole.
I'd like to see
Yeah,
the
it'd be
pitching
cool.
matchups, but
Well, I can tell you
all right.
this: tomorrow is
Framber's going to pitch. Framber's going to pitch in one of the Padre games. He should.
okay. So here's the
so we'll
pitching
go
matchups for the
4-2.
Angels.
I'm going 4-2.
All right, so Kikuchi's going Friday, Verlander's going Saturday, so that's a loss, and then Blanco's going Sunday.
Vote of
And then
confidence from Chris on
the
Verlander.
Padres series. Yeah.
It should be Hunter Brown, Framber.
And then Kikuchi.
Well,
Arrighetti.
Arrighetti.
Arrighetti's got a pitch. So it'd probably be Arrighetti, Framber, Hunter Brown for the Padres probably.
Yeah, I'll go 4-2. And I know the Padres pitchers have been good. I mean, the only reason I can say that is because I got a couple of them on my fantasy baseball team, and yes, I am in the playoffs.
And I got a bye. What's up?
Nice. But anyway, yeah. So I'll go ahead and say, I'll say 4-2. I say we're taking at least 2 out of 3 from the Angels if we don't sweep, and we're taking at least 2 out of 3 from the Padres. We're not going to sweep the Padres. I'm sorry. If they come out and Musgrove is throwing a gem, if we run into him, or if we run into who's their other really good pitcher?
Musgrove.
Is Mania? No, Mania's with the Mets, right?
Yeah. No, they have another lights out pitcher, and I can't think of his name right now. But anyway,
Darvish.
No, I think we're pretty good against him, especially in the World Series. Just correct me if I'm wrong here.
I'm trying to think. Who was that? I really don't
Joe
know.
Musgrove pitches for them. He's
good. Like I was saying, Musgrove's nails, man. Trust me, I got that one.
Oh, Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease.
Yeah, Dylan Cease.
There you go. That's who I was thinking of. Thank you.
Yeah.
Me too. I was thinking of him too.
All right, so I have 4-2, and for tiebreaker's sake,
we may not see Joe Musgrove or Dylan Cease. because they're. I mean, Dylan Cease is going tomorrow, or Musgrove's going tomorrow night. Then Dylan Cease is going Saturday.
Ooh,
So we
that
may
gives
not. We
PK
may
the
see Musgrove the
advantage of
last
making
game.
his picks right now.
Hey, I'm giving him all the info. He's going to hit it because I just gave him that extra golden nugget. You're welcome, PK.
All right, so I've got 4 and 2. Two out of 3, 2 out of 3. That's what I have. The loss in
Nice.
the Angels series, JV. We
Told
all
you.
agree on. We all agree on that one. I think. Um, I want to say Eric Getty's going to be the L in the Padres series, but like Hunter Brown's last. I mean, look, he pitched. He's been pitching good, but at the same time, like his pitch count was up pretty quick, pretty high, right? And I mean, that's the most runs he's allowed in his last several starts. And I'm not saying he's going to follow that trend. I want to say Eric Getty just for because I don't think Fromber's not going to give us an L. I don't. I have zero faith in the fact that he's going to go out there and piss down his leg. Hunter Brown's been too good. Eric Getty's been good also. But for conversation's sake, I'm going to say the L in the Padres series will be Eric Getty. So 4 and 2, those are my tiebreakers. And I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong on 4 and 2.
I hope something goes down and they go 6-0.
I
That'd
hope
be
we're
badass.
yeah. I was about to say I hope we're all wrong and they do go 6-0.
5 and 1, 6 and 0. I'll take it. It's time to put some more distance between us because between us and Seattle. I mean, like we've been hanging out at 4, 4.5, 5, now 3.5. Like it's time to where that Seattle series when it comes up, whether we lose a series. I mean, I don't want to lose a series, but if we do, to where it doesn't make it that intense, to where you burn so much energy trying to, because that's to be a high intensity game. I mean, series, that whole thing.
Yeah.
So you want to, we want to make sure we have distance between us going into that series so that we can just right here, right now, we just bury them.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want all these hot, and it's exactly what you said, man. I mean, the goal, like I said, if we can go into that Seattle series and just need to take one to kill it, to put them out of the misery,
Yeah.
and then we can just chill the last 5 games. Then you could do your
you set your rotations up and all
then
that
you
stuff.
could do your Baltimore lineups where you have, Jordan and all these other guys sitting while you're playing, all your other guys.
Well, I mean, you're talking about like chill lineups and stuff like that. The one thing I do want to say, hold on, I'm about to pull up the the standings right now, but we should be pretty close to catching second, right? As far as wins and losses are concerned.
I think we were 3 games behind Cleveland for number 2. I thought.
Ooh, come on, MLB.com.
All right, give me a second. I got it. Yeah, so we might have at one point. I know at one point we were 4 games from having the number 1 seed. We're 4 games, 4 games from Cleveland right now.
Yeah,
And you still got 3 against them.
Yep. So that would be nice too.
To close the season.
So there's a possibility we could get a bye, but they.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're going to have
to
to
get their
come
shit
with
together,
it.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
None of this we need to rest players. I mean, I don't know. They have the capability to do it.
No, they do. But, we really have, it's getting, close to the end of the episode. And thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. We really appreciate it every single week, every single time. We really haven't talked about Altuve and what the hell happened yesterday.
I don't think anybody knows. Or I don't know. If you know, tell me.
No, there was nothing. I've heard nothing today about it. Other than
I heard it was his oblique. Like he hurt his oblique swinging, and then
he did an interview after the game. Oh, then he hurt his oblique, called time, had the manager and trainer come out. Next pitch goes to bunt, right? Because he doesn't even want to swing. Comes out of the game. After the post game interview, they're asking if he's concerned. He says no. Nothing similar to what he dealt with, what was it, last year with his oblique. Espada does his normal dance around. We're going to wait until how he feels up from overnight. the thing is that can anybody ever trust what's going to come out of Dana Brown's mouth or Joe Espada's mouth as it relates to any kind of injury?
No, he
See,
got pulled
see
out, and
Kyle Tucker and his bone bruise for 3 months.
Yeah.
So
that's right where I
Or
was going. I was like, yeah, he got pulled out, and he pulled his oblique, which means he broke a rib. I mean, come on,
I mean, it
what
might
does
as
that
well,
actually
right?
mean?
Maybe he slept
like don't forget Javier's
slept wrong, quick in
yeah, he
his neck.
stepped wrong, so he hurt his neck, which led to Tommy John.
Yeah, yeah. So
Exactly.
hey, stranger things have happened. So that's definitely something that we got to keep an eye on and see. Hopefully, we get some kind of report. Hopefully, um, he can get back into the lineup, and it's nothing more than just a strain or a tweak. I know Espada said today that Altuve was in the weight room doing with the medicine ball and stretching. He was trying to get that oblique loosened, and he's got Bregman's elbow still. Bregman still has the elbow thing.
Well, good. Maybe it'll hurt his value.
I guess, man, but the last couple of games he's made a few more plays diving to his left, and it's like when I see those, I'm like, oh my god, dude! Like I feel like the next throw, his elbow is going to go with the ball to first. And I hope to God it doesn't. But like we still don't really know what the hell is wrong with his elbow.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you get told a bunch of bullshit throughout the season.
All season,
Yeah,
all season.
You guys
I
are
mean,
making Bregman elbow out to be like Lou Gehrig's disease.
yeah. It's like between I'm trying
He's
to
got
make sure I
Bregman
sleep
elbow.
right, so I don't need Tommy John and having to look at the back of people's fucking baseball cards. My season's been busy.
Again,
Has been busy.
freaking baseball cards, man.
Yeah,
Look at the back of the
Like
card.
that should go on one of our shirts.
yeah.
Yeah, well, look at the back of the card.
Look at the back
Yeah,
of the back of the baseball card. It never lies, man. It never lies.
except for I mean, it lied. It did lie.
Except
for a
that it
minute.
lied the whole season.
Yeah,
It like that grand slam that JV gave up.
yeah.
All right. Well, never mind.
Well, he's 41. He's old.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, but he's getting paid to be old.
Hey, man, must be nice.
It is.
Must be nice.
It is for somebody, for him.
Yeah, not for me though.
No, not for me, no. I still got to go to work.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. So I like our predictions. I think we all went 4-2 except for Chris. Chris is going 3 for 3. All right.
Yeah.
He's non-homering this week.
I'm the bad news bears this week.
Me and Bryles are homering this week. So, we'll see how it goes. I hope we get better than 4-2. I'll take it all day long.
Yeah, me too.
But guys, I want to thank everybody else for listening again. Every week. We got a lot of views on our last short on YouTube, so I want to thank everybody that's tuned in. Keep going back to Facebook, Juicebox Heroes, and interact with us. And Chris posts stuff on there every day. I will give him a little bit of shit because, yesterday was a big day in American history. However, we forgot to post something about that. We just posted about the hurricane in Louisiana. So, Chris, next year, make sure you post on 9/11.
That's fair. I'll never forget.
Except you did this year.
Again.
But no, in all seriousness, know that we want to thank everyone for listening every single week, man. We have a good time coming in here and just bullshit with you guys. And I promise you that we are going to have some swag here soon. So we will make that available as soon as we figure out what the hell we're going to do. But it's coming. It's coming.
It is. It is. And we're gonna we need to figure out a time where we can, get together, maybe thinking maybe the first playoff game, maybe we'll go live and do like a play-by-play or something.
I think we should do live and we should do an on location. That's what I'd like to work on.
There we go. So we all have hopes and dreams and aspirations for this. It's just we move at the speed of
Snails.
fucking smell. That's what we move at. So, but yeah, I mean, I know PK said thanks. I want to thanks everybody for interacting with me on Facebook. Again, PK Browse, thanks for you guys for doing this. Makes it this much more enjoyable. And yeah, Browse, you got anything before we close it out?
I'm good, buddy. Let's go Astros. Let's get that playoff push and go from there.